Tasty then.
Oh, did you just love it? Hi, Chip.
I know Chipper decided he's missed me
Baby
this week,
boy.
so
Hi,
mwah.
Mr. Chip. Oh, hi. He's so happy to have his daddy home. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Some Like It Classic. Tami Goveia here with my lovely co-host, Edward Parati, and his little fur baby Chip, who's so happy to see his daddy.
I
Because you've been
know.
traveling.
Mwah.
You've been
Hi,
traveling.
everybody.
Oh my. So what did you think of the opening music?
I love the opening music. You couldn't see me,
Nice.
but I'm like sitting here doing my little old man moves, and
I was, you and I were dancing. This is how I was picturing the whole thing. And there's, martinis at the table and oh yeah. So I think that's
back in the days
definitely
when, I was skinny and I could wear a fitted suit and maybe a little fedora and
So is it tilted back? Is a fedora tilted back or is it to the side or is it a little
it
lower?
would be a little front, a little leaning front just to be mysterious,
I would do the Judy Garland where it's just a little bit to the side, back and to the side with my tuxedo jacket, black stockings, and black heels.
Oh, there we go. Actually, in all honesty, I wouldn't be wearing a hat because it would ruin my hair. So,
Everyone, again, welcome to Some Like It Classic. And this week's spotlight is going to be on the 1944 noir extravaganza, Double Indemnity.
I love this movie.
Oh, gosh, I was saying to you, Ed, I've, full transparency, I'd never seen the film from start to finish. I'd seen clips of it, and then there's also the very favorite moments that everybody talks about and posts about. So let me just do a quick recap of what the film is about for our audience, viewers, and or podcast listeners who have never seen the film. I ran across a really lovely article by David L. Lynn. The name of the article is LA Story, a dark, seductive tale of lust and murder in Double Indemnity. And he writes, it's a quintessential Los Angeles narrative, moody, atmospheric, shot some of it on location in the city, beginning with that opening sequence, Fred McMurray as Walter Neff, mid-30s, insurance salesman on the make at the tail end of a murder plot that has come undone.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Why do you love this movie so much, Ed?
Well, first off, it's Barbara Stanwyck.
Are you
And
a fan? Are you saying you're a fan of Ms. Stanwyck?
I can say that I don't think I've ever seen her given a bad performance on anything.
Yeah.
She was flawless, but to me, she is the quintessential femme fatale in this movie. I mean, there is just this mixture of sex with innocence, with betrayal. I mean, she oozes it. And I was never a fan of Fred McMurray. at all. It's like he just reminds me of, middle America preacher man, right? And he was actually really well cast in this because he was kind of doofy. He was kind of, it's like, wow, you just kind of, turn your chest and flash it, and here comes running Fred. Um, but no, it's just one of those that is so clean in its simplicity with a storyline, but so complex in what they're doing and what they're not doing or saying to each other, that it's so twisty. And this is also one that I fully believe would translate on stage so beautifully well because of how it's written. And then, you throw Billy Wilder into the mix, and you just, if people who haven't seen this film, and I don't reference it as a movie, it is a film. Um, it is such, it's relevant. It's still relevant today. I mean, if you look at how and what goes on in Hollywood, you look at what goes on with influencers, and they all think they're above things, and they all want to get their way and get away with things. It's just kind of timeless. But it's Barbara, and Barbara was flawless.
When you were talking about Billy Wilder, this is a film, it's a screen adaptation. Um, it's a second novel by James M. Cain. And the novel that this is based on is actually considered one of America's greatest novels. I've never read it, but I'm gonna gosh darn read it now. So Cain, the author, actually based this story on an actual real life event.
Yep.
It's 1927. Ruth Snyder, a New York woman, convinces her lover to kill her husband after taking out an insurance policy with a double indemnity clause. And, spoiler slight alert, as in the film, in real life, Miss Ruth and her lover did not get away with this murder. And she was convicted and sentenced to jail for it. But the writers, you've got Billy Wilder and Raymond Chandler.
Yeah.
As well as the author, James Cain, collaborating. So you've got this, what they call holy trinity of writers that have come in to create this masterpiece.
My one catty comment with the, if anyone ever wants to do any research and look up where the original story came from, Hollywood gave that woman a major upgrade with Barbara Stanwyck. I'm just telling you now that whoever decided that they were going to sleep with this woman and fall for her and then go kill for her needed glasses. But anyway, that's just me being evil and shaming people, but I'll get flack for that later. But
so that's from, you're talking from the book standpoint?
No, the original where the book is based off of, the 1927 couple.
Oh, the couple. Got it.
Yeah.
No, I didn't take a deeper dive.
She's scary looking. She's
money is a very enticing motivation, and you can look beyond a whole lot of things for the right price. Not to say that you have a price or I have a price. However, it is human nature.
Oh, I'm sure I have a price. Just no one's offered it. No one's put it in front of me yet, so we're fine. As my husband walks by and gives me a glaring look.
James is in the chat. He's like, we all got prices, babe.
Yeah. Yeah, James, we'll discuss yours later.
Mm-hmm.
But yet, no, it's amazing to me. Just they didn't change a whole lot of the original story, except obviously for the ending.
Right, we'll talk about that.
But it was, to me, that whole story and how the book went was so reminiscent of when Truman Capote did In Cold Blood.
Right.
right? There is,
Good point.
you took this kind of unheard of scenario back then, and maybe it happened more than than we would know. Now we know about all this stuff because of the internet and everything been instantaneous. But back in 1927, you didn't hear about that stuff going on. You didn't hear all those. So it was kind of, not that I would call it a crime of the century, but it was sensationalized.
Scandalous.
Everybody knew about it.
Absolutely.
And
And let's be honest, a woman wanting to kill her husband, it's not unheard of.
I was going to say, that's probably, yeah, I can't say that because then I will get half the men in America coming after me. But yeah, it's definitely not unheard of.
But
I'm
she
sure.
even says in the film, the character Phyllis that Barbara Stanwyck plays, she said when things were getting really bad and everything was unraveling, she says to Walter, you made this happen. I just wanted him dead. And
Yeah.
it's one of those moments of this opening shot. So let's cut to the chase here. The writers wasted no time getting into the action, getting into the web that is Phyllis. And Walter's impression and just being lured into that web was immediate, which surprised me. This moment shocked me.
Really?
It did. It wasn't what I hadn't seen the whole film, so I knew she was a femme fatale. I knew that. But for it to happen so quickly, surprised.
Yeah, I mean, it was, and that did kind of break the trend from that mentality of a film, right? Just kind of going right for the jugular. But when you watch it from end to end, watch her wardrobe, her hair, everything about her is angelic. Everything, except when she puts on those dark sunglasses, and all of a sudden those sunglasses make her look like the devil. But the first scene you see with her all in white and her blonde hair, right? I mean, I'm sorry, that would scare the crap out of me. I mean, you just look at her and she looks evil, but she takes those glasses off and she's innocence and light. And it's once again, like I said, it's that mixture of that sex and that innocence and that, but they don't dress her. They dressed her to not look like a spider weaving a web.
What's fascinating though is her body language, Ed, from the get-go. There's nothing innocent about her.
No.
There's nothing innocent about her. And that's probably part of the lure that Walter felt was here is this angelic type, physically this angel of sorts, but he knew immediately for the kinds of things he said to her from the get-go, his physical language, he was all up in her space.
Imagine what it would be without the censors.
Yeah. So this is 44. Yeah. Without the Hays Code. Holy cannoli. Can you imagine?
Oh my God. It would, the innuendos would have been so in your face.
Oh my gosh.
But it's interesting too, is that you every time I've seen this, I've always kind of wondered to myself, how many men had she gone through to finally get the one to say yes?
And we don't, again, okay, so I guess let's back up a second, because I never thought about that until we get further into the film and you realize, oh, she's been working a lot of people to get to this point. A lot of people. She's been busy. She's a woman with a mission, and she knows how to get what she wants, and she'll do whatever she needs to do to get what she wants. I wasn't expecting this story to be so dark. I've seen femme fatale films, and they're more, no pun intended, but they're more black and white.
Yeah.
Here's a story. Here's who she is. I mean, it's pretty clear. But you had mentioned it earlier that, to Barbara Stanwyck's credit, the layers that she brings to Phyllis, the vulnerability, the victimization, the sexuality, the absolute frustration, her making him believe that she's in love with him and that he's in love with her. And
it's like the ultimate narcissist.
It is. And I knew she was conning him, but at the same time, I thought, because she says he hits me, and when he drinks, he gets violent. And as a woman, you think, oh, okay, I can look past a lot of things, but if this is what's really going on, she needs to get out of there. And if killing her husband is a way to do it, but then you realize as the film goes on that it's just lie after lie after lie.
I just wonder how many other men and women she played this with in order to perfect the story for maximum. And if it didn't work on him, what would she change accordingly to then push it over? It just, that it has been experimented so many times, because she also is flawless in her delivery of these stories, right? What's happened to her? There's just this ease that just kind of oozes out with what she has been through and what she has done. Like she has said it multiple times. She said the lines over and over and over again. And it's you just kind of want to smack her.
I just kind of want to run from her. I don't want any. And even Walter says that in the beginning. She goes, "Get out," and he says, "No problem there. I'm out of here as quickly as it can be," because he knows what she's up to.
Well, and then let's talk about his boss.
Okay, so Edward G. Robinson.
Interesting casting, by the way.
Interesting casting. And I found the pacing of his character, the language, how he spoke so quickly. He was just kind of this type A manic personality that he was obsessed with his work. And, he had that little old man inside of him that was his, he knew when something was wrong. And it was perfect casting, I thought. What did you think?
No, it was perfect casting, because I've also seen or believe his character was in love with Fred MacMurray's character.
And I was thinking, when you're taking a look at the relationships in this film, I mean, obviously you've got Walter and Phyllis, and then you've got Lorna, who's the daughter.
Yeah.
And Guido whatever, Nino Sargucci, whatever her boyfriend's name was, right? You've got that pairing. But really, the romance, if you're going to look for any romance in this film, it's between, so his character's name, Barton Keyes. It's between Barton and his employee, Walter, and the relationship that they have.
Because he's trying, not as, and they're obviously friends, yes, but he's trying to guide him to do what, he had no idea what's going on, but to do the right thing in order to stay good, right? But there's just, I just, every time I would see this, I would think to myself, it's like, he's the older closeted gay man who just has a crush.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't get that.
The way he interacts with him and the way he looks at them and the way how he wants to protect him is so beyond a friend. It's so beyond a friend.
I got more of the mentor, maybe like the son he never had. yeah, I didn't get that vibe. I did feel heartbroken for him at the end,
Yes.
because there are losses during this film, but the loss of their relationship, the loss of their friendship at the end really broke my heart.
Okay, so I'm gonna challenge you to go back and watch those final scenes and just watch Edward G. Robinson's facial expressions. And it's an expression that, and let's be clear, audience, I don't see everyone as gay. I'm not that kind of person. But there's just something in his face when he's looking at Fred that is, it's past friendship.
It's a huge, huge betrayal.
I mean, it's massive, but
It's
it just his you kind of just you almost your shoulders almost kind of fold in when you're watching this, because you're like, ouch. It just, and it's a big ouch. And it's so, it's honestly, it's, to me, it's one of the saddest moments of the whole film.
it is, to me, it's the saddest. I mean,
And
what happens to her is something else, but it wasn't sad. You know,
oh no, I applauded.
yeah, it wasn't sad, but it's interesting when you look back at the dialogue. He says it, or they say it in the beginning of the film, and then they say it again at the end of the film. I love you. They
Mhm.
say it to each other. Well, no, actually, Walter says it to him twice.
Yes.
Twice. And it's a very easy thing to say. And I just want to learn how to light a match with my finger. Like, that was the coolest thing I've ever seen. Like, I can't, because I'd burn a nail and I don't want to burn my nails. But
We could just do, your next manicure, ask for Flint.
little
Flint tips.
I love, there's so many scenes where he lights the match for him, for her, for himself. It's like
Yeah, it's like I said, and then I keep going back to, every time I watch this, I just, Fred McMurray is just, I don't know. He I love his performance, don't get me wrong. And they were really, really good together. I just thought he was odd casting. Because he's not a cad. He doesn't read, I mean, to me that would be like Henry Fonda playing, a total and utter womanizer. I couldn't, it's just a weird thing to digest. And it worked, but it just was odd. And it's God, I look at her face.
I know, she's just exquisite.
I mean, the lines of her face, her eyes and her nose and her lips all flip and match.
I know.
It's annoying.
What's interesting is Fred McMurray has had this issue in his career. When he did The Apartment and was cast as that misogynistic, womanizing, cruel boyfriend to Shirley MacLaine, that was against his type. Because up until that point, because what, The Apartment's 60?
Yeah, about that. Yeah.
1960? And he actually tells a story. The film comes out and he's walking the streets of New York, and this woman stops him and says, "Are you Fred McMurray?" And he's, "Yes, I am." And she whacks him with her purse and just tears into him about how horrible he treated Shirley MacLaine. And it was just unacceptable. And from that point on, he chose not to do those types of films anymore. because he didn't want his kids, he didn't want to be depicted that way any longer. So it's interesting that in 1944, because
Yeah.
he's not, he, what does he say? He says, we're both, she says, we're both rotten.
Yes.
And he says to her, yes, you're just a little more rotten.
Yeah.
But they're both.
Oh, they're both not good humans.
No.
No. He's an opportunist, and she's just, I mean, she just wants money, and she will find any way to get it. You know, it's like I said, it's kind of timeless, and you hate to say that a film like that and the undertones of it are timeless, and we haven't really grown from it.
But it's human nature. It's
Oh,
not
it's
about
totally human
growing
nature.
out of anything. It's about, you know what? Desperate times call for desperate measures, and these are two desperate people.
Now I need to go look at my insurance policies and see what my husband signed me up for.
Two desperate people, and it's never for her. I feel like it's never enough.
It would, and that's the thing. It would never be enough. You know, she would ultimately become a Black Widow.
Yeah.
You know, which is kind of, to me, what the character is. I mean, the way they twist and turn and created about the web, and then putting her all in white versus a cliche black, right? It just kind of throws you off. But she is the ultimate Black Widow, and that, you know, if they got away with this, she would marry someone else, and because she knew, as a narcissist, she got away with it one time, she can do it again.
And she'd already gotten away with it.
Right.
There was a previous situation that she got away with, which only feeds.
You just keep kind of going and going and going. The Can we talk about the end?
Yeah, we can. And
because I'm always leery about me in my mouth and dropping spoilers, so I have
to spoiler alert. Okay, folks, if you haven't seen Double Indemnity, now is the time to turn this off, and you can rewatch our episode, our coverage after you've seen the movie. Let's give them a couple seconds to go away and come back later.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Goodbye.
Okay, so do we want to talk about the original ending?
The original ending that never got it, or the book one, or the original ending that never got into the film?
So I'll start with the book.
Yes.
It was a double suicide.
Yeah.
In the book. But what ended up on the editing floor?
The editing floor ended with him in the gas chamber. Which I get, okay, in 1947, I get that would have traumatized audiences. But the fact that they've lost that footage, they don't know where that footage is. I would pay money to see that, because the way that film starts and then ending it on that note, people would have talked about this movie for decades. It truly would be, I mean, I know we consider it a classic, but we consider it a classic for its film style and all of that. This would have been, to me, like a Wizard of Oz classic, that it would be something that people would all know about. And it would have been one of those films that, oh my God, in 1947, they gassed somebody. And once again, the whole thing with, don't know why, more than likely, censorship.
Look at this.
But, I mean, look at just how beautifully lit.
It's horrific to look at this. It's just, and
Edward G, once again, look at Edward G. Robinson's face.
Yeah, he looks like he wants to he's sick. He's just sick. He's just sick. Yeah.
But it just, it's lit so well. It is depressing. It is dark. I mean, his eyes don't look like they exist.
Yeah, no, he's soulless at this
He's
point, right?
totally soulless in
Yeah,
that, right?
yeah.
And it's once again, I get the audience's reaction, but this is where I get really annoyed with filmmakers and studios and everybody in general is even like with the ending of Death Becomes Her, right? They caved to the audience saying it was kind of too flat, but it was more poignant. It made more sense. The writer and the director have a vision. Let them do it.
Well, the motivation to changing the ending of this film was 99% from the Hays Code.
What, we can't show
It was,
somebody being
it was
murdered?
too
Yeah.
dark. It was deemed too dark. The double suicide ending from the book was deemed, oh no, people can't see that. The gas chamber, oh no, that's too much. So the final ending that they came up with, that the Hays Committee approved of, was kind of in the middle. It was kind of okay.
So murdering or killing a woman on screen is okay. I'm just, I'm just saying. Hayes Committee was a bunch of,
Misogyny and violence toward women has always been deemed acceptable.
one of these days we're going to have to just do a collection of those kind of movies and scenes.
When you're talking about classic Hollywood, and as much as we love classic Hollywood, it's a very misogynistic platform. The films, the language, the storylines, there's no way of getting around that. But the fun thing is about this gas chamber. It cost $150,000 to create that set.
Yep.
$150,000 in 1944, and it was never used.
Well, okay, so didn't the movie cost something like $960,000 to make? The whole movie. That's an obscene amount of money, right? The studio went in hard on this movie, and then they didn't. To me, once again, my opinion only, they didn't end it on the right note.
It says, according to Reddit, the original ending is reportedly stored in the Paramount vaults. The article says that Paramount has the original ending in the vaults. Whether the ending has ever been publicly shown, there's no proof to that.
Okay, so Turner,
Yeah.
Turner Classic, use your muscle and let us host the restored version at the Academy Theater.
Yes.
I need to see that on a screen.
Can you imagine?
Yes, I can, which is why I want to do it. It's like, can we start a campaign? Can we? There are certain movies where I just want to see what the original vision was. Doesn't mean they have to keep it that way, but
right.
I want to see the creatives where their mind really was going and why did they want to do it that way. And to me, that's a whole nother story of Hollywood caving for whatever reason, and not being, we're talking about Hollywood's supposed to be the creative, epicenter, but they're really not, because they don't let the visionary be the visionary. They don't let they cave to audience response versus artist. And sorry, I'm going to get on a soapbox. I'll stop.
No.
It is like I said, I love this movie, and because the ending is, the villain gets her comeuppance, and you're not entirely sure, is he making it or not making it? Right? I mean, there is that little bit of doubt. If
Right.
The way it ends, did he die? Did he pass out? I hear the ambulance coming. That always suggests that help is on its way. It just, what? The man survives?
I wanted him to die.
I wanted them both to shoot each other, actually.
Well, that double suicide
right?
would have been apropos.
And that's where it's like
Absolutely.
they could have gotten away from it being a suicide to where it was a double murder. They
Right.
could have killed each other. It would have been flat. There would have been no drama at the end of it, but it just having him in all, for lack of a better term, dying and Edward, I can't even say his name right, in his arms.
That's what I thought was going to happen.
It just felt, I want this to end with the bang that it started with.
No pun intended.
Yeah, no pun intended, but it kind of, it ended almost expected when it started off completely unexpected.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my only criticism on it. Everything else was, I always go back to the lights, the shadows, how they did the sets, and I would love to see color pictures of what their makeup really looked like, because they were just like, she was just flawless.
Yeah.
So they had to have contoured her out with so much purple and green to just give her that and have her nose look like that. I'm sorry. I gush over certain movies, and this is one of them.
This is a gusher. Yeah.
It's a gusher. And you said, if people don't know who Barbara Stanwyck is, or really only know her from, I was going to say Bonanza, but it's not Bonanza. Big Valley.
Big Valley.
Matriarch. That's not even close, right? I mean, you think of Dial M for Murder, and you think of, my all-time favorite, which I never see, Turner. Hello, can we play Stella Dallas?
You don't see it. It was on a little while ago.
Was it?
Yeah. They're pretty good about airing Stella.
Yeah. That's one movie that I still get teary-eyed at the end. I would encourage everybody to watch this movie to fall in love with her and then go through her catalog.
Well, I had suggested to you Baby Doll from 1933. This was just before the Hays Code. So the subject matter, Ed, is something to behold. And Barbara Stanwyck's performance is jaw-dropping. It's shocking. It's fantastic. If you haven't seen it, and if folks haven't seen it, if you don't know what pre-code films are, they are everything. Yes. They are what films should be. They're controversial. They push the envelope. They shock in a good way. It's not gratuitous kind of shock. It's brilliant writing done at its peak. Yep. So Baby Doll is what I would recommend. And here's what blows my mind about Barbara Stanwyck. She goes from Baby Doll, Stella Dallas, Double Indemnity, and then she is in one of my all-time favorite holiday comedies.
You say Lady Eve?
Christmas in Connecticut.
Ah, okay.
I love that Christmas movie. It is one of my all-time favorite Christmas movies. And she's funny.
Oh, her comedic timing was so good. Her against Henry Fonda on the ship is just...
So which movie are you talking about?
Isn't that, I think it's called, is it Lady Eve?
This is, Fonda's young.
Yes.
This is, and she's she's been around the block a little bit.
She's kind of the grifter.
Yes, but she kind of takes a liking to him, and she's going to show him the ropes.
Yep.
Yes, I've never seen that in its entirety.
There is something about that era film, because they were so well written and so heavily dialogue, that they all translate so well on stage. And like you said, I would love to see Double Indemnity on stage.
And can I just tell you the moment that I think would be perfect on stage? His apartment, okay? His door, which I found really odd. You didn't open into the apartment. The door opened the opposite
Yes.
way, right? And I thought, okay, whatever. It's just the way they're doing things. But in with Billy Wilder, you just don't arbitrarily not think about which way the door is going to open. So it's that scene where she calls him, "Can I come over?" And he says, "Yeah, just to make sure nobody sees you." He's getting ready for her to come over, and Edward G. Robinson shows up, and he's now thinking he can't find her here. If he does, we're dead. Edward G. Robinson's in the apartment, and you see her come off the elevator and just about to ring the doorbell, and she hears voices. Well, the door opens. Edward Keyes is leaving, and because the door opens out,
Yep.
she can fold herself behind the door as he walks out to the elevator, and she's hidden behind that door. And talk about seeing that on stage.
Yep.
Like, it would be such an amazing moment.
Yeah, that one, and honestly, the opening scene to me would be almost like Sunset Boulevard epic, right? The staircase, it just looking up and having that vision. Oh yeah, it would read so phenomenally well, and to do, doing the set like if we talk about events, right? You doing the set like they did City of Angels, black and white,
Right.
and really, I mean, not going for expected, but giving an audience an emotion. And
let's move into that event scenario.
I mean, it's film noir is hard to not go cliche. It really is. But you do want to keep everything black and white. You really do. You want to keep, maybe a pop of color here or there, but you want to kind of channel that it's no longer deco, but it's also not that 50s vibe, right? There's a time in between where black and white was still sexy, and it wouldn't be hints of gold. It would really be black and white with, and maybe one pop, like maybe a red, maybe a purple. But if you do red needs to be done sexy, but in a way to where it also feels like blood. As morbid as that sounds, right?
No, when you sent this, I thought, and because we always segue, we pick a film and then segue into you creating an event, giving event ideas that replicate kind of the theme of the film that we just talked about and the feeling of the film. And I saw this picture and I thought, oh my gosh, this is so creepy.
It's creepy.
It's so creepy, and I love it.
But to me, this represents the film to me.
Mm.
It really does. And it's the rose is considered such a pure flower.
Love.
Right? But she leaves her mark of destruction all over the place, which then the petals kind of become that reminiscent. This is what I love with events is it is art. Anybody throwing any kind of gathering needs to look at themselves from the lens of a fashion designer or an artist. And you're telling a story. And I look at this and I just see I like I said, I see perfection and beauty in the flower, but then I see the flower death and destruction and just being torn apart all over the place. I showed this to one person. They're like, oh, that's kind of romantic. And I'm like, how do you get romance out of this? And they're like, well, you got rose petals all over the place and you could throw them on the floor. And I'm like, no, that's blood splatter.
I totally get it, but I can see how other people would go, oh, that is romantic. It's a
Oh, yeah.
Valentine's Day decor.
You
But
just need to invite people over who are dark like you are. I
well,
just,
within the context of double indemnity, there's no question what that
correct.
symbolizes. No question.
Correct. And there is something to be said about playing with the idea of double indemnity, double, the word double, right? And I don't have a visual for it, but just the idea of repeating, right? It's like, do you do two of everything? Do you double, right? I mean, do you instead of doing a duo plate or like a surf and turf, which I hate, by the way, but do you do two versions of a fillet, two versions of a sea bass, two versions of a salad, two, just playing on this whole idea of just letting people connect with the word double,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't have to be, I mean, double indemnity, yes, insurance term, that's a little hard to represent. But if you just give them nuggets, but then really weave in that dark and that black and that sexiness with that pure white. Because to me, that white needs to just scream, because I look at this and I see, to me, in my head, that's the opening scene. All that white in the distance is her on that balcony. And then just all the blackness that surrounds her.
Absolutely.
And it just, this to me is so sexy. I want to do nasty things in this ballroom. Where's the Hays Code now? I'm in trouble. But it just, so I mean, when anybody who's looking at films and looking at them for inspiration for any kind of entertaining, look for the obvious first, which would be, color, texture, those kind of things, but then riff it and flip the obvious into the unexpected. So yes, film noir, black and white, very obvious. Now, how do you sex it up? How do you give that emotion in a dinner party that Stanwyck and McMurray had, that was just the tension was just, I mean, I wouldn't even say cut it with a knife. You couldn't cut it, right? And it just was kind of bursting out. And just, like I look at this, I'm like, okay, I see very feminine. I see very approachable. I see very
Yeah, I
soft.
was actually surprised with this gingham kind of decor.
But then the black and white is very masculine.
Yeah.
And then you kind of weave in that color, and of course I'm going with purple because, well, one, it's a good tie-in, but there's something in between them. There's something there that's separating them, but it still ties them together. And that's, once again, that's the joy with entertaining, is you can write a story, and as you're and I have to take this back, because I just made a public comment about the term entertaining, so I have to really watch myself that I don't fall into my own trap. Because I'll go officially on record, entertaining, if you say you're entertaining people, that means the event is about the host or hostess. If you're going to go down the hospitality path, that means you're doing it for the guests and the guest experience. So if I'm going to entertain you, it's about me. And there's no right or wrong answer. It's all personal, right? It's all personal taste. So if you're going to entertain people by using a film as inspiration and you're going to weave that in, then you need to really weave yourself and how you see it come to life. And then you get to tell that story. And that's how you bring the people together, and you get their opinions, and you start conversations at the table, and it just kind of all riffs. And then sit and watch the movie after and see if they get it.
So I'm going to put you on the spot here.
Uh-oh.
This film for me was very unsettling and very disturbing. How do I bring that into a dinner party? That feeling of feeling uncomfortable, just a little, just a little.
How you serve your food. So, do you serve your entree on a traditional plate? Or do you serve your soup in a teacup?
Hmm. So just
Something
throws
that
people off a little.
just to throw them off so that
Yeah.
they're not entirely sure. Do you reverse to place settings? Do you serve the salad on the entree
Can you
plate?
imagine?
Right? I
That's
mean,
such a great idea.
it just the whole you but the thing with like this movie in particular, but the type of movie in general is they're very subtle, uncomfortable moments.
Yeah.
And if you want to weave that in, you have to then stray from the traditional experience that everyone's going to expect. They're going to expect my fork in the same spot, my knife in the same spot, right? Reverse the narrative, flip
Love
it
it.
around,
Love it.
right? And just kind of make them stop and question what the hell's going on,
Yeah.
you know? And do you start with desserts? Do you go European style, which most Americans don't know or aren't used to it, but you serve your salad after the entree? That would throw off most American dinner parties. You're right. So I mean, those subtle little something's wrong, but I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to insult anybody. I'm just going to sit here and digest it. But that was odd,
Yes.
you
Yes.
know. And then you have them watch a movie, and then over coffee or dessert later, you're like, so did you sense anything? Right? Did the movie make you uncomfortable? Did dinner make you uncomfortable? Do you feel like you've had an end-to-end experience of just being uncomfortable? Right? And there's, like I said, and the beauty of it, there's no right or wrong answer.
Right.
You know your guests better than anybody. You know what you can get away with. I mean, honestly, you know that if you were over the house and I wanted to do something to make everyone feel uncomfortable at dinner, it wouldn't be subtle. Um, but it would be memorable, right? So that would be my one thing is also don't err on the side of don't overthink it. Don't make it too complicated. A subtle smack in the back of the head goes a lot further than a smack in the face. But have fun. Oh my God. These movies, we weren't around, so I can't imagine what it would have been like to have seen this in that age of the world with how they thought and how they saw everything, right? I mean, it was a shocking film.
Mm-hmm.
But now, in today, when we are so polarized with so many things, to watch that film, it's fun. It's a fun, emotional roller coaster without all the expected twists and turns. I mean, filmmakers now could take lessons. I mean, can we bring Billy Wilder back? And just it's like we need those eyes again behind the camera.
You really do just disappear into this world. For
Yeah.
what, an hour and 42 minutes or however long this film is, you just find yourself in it.
Well, and turn the lights off. Put your phone down with the volume off.
Put it in another room.
Put it
How
in
about
another
that
room.
concept?
And just sit down in a dark room and watch this movie. And take it all in. And seriously, let us know to the audience, let us know, does it affect you? Because if it doesn't affect you, I want to talk to you later about the health. because you're going to miss something if you have your phone in your hand. You're going to miss something with the lights on, because so much of the beauty as well of the film is how it's filmed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've talked about this many times, that the beauty with classic films, and we're going to go see Wicked tomorrow, and there have been movies like that where they've utilized all their tools
Yes.
in order, right? That it's not just that the lights are a character and the sets are a character, and everything about the experience is more than just the people. And it all makes up for it. And when you're doing your events, you have to think of the same thing, right? It's all of it. It's not just the food. It's not just a tablescape. It's not just a theme. It is, how are you weaving all of those senses together to create that maximum impact? And to me, this film does it.
This film, and we've brought TCM up a few times tonight, will be airing on TCM Saturday, November 22nd. So that's tomorrow at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So, folks, if you haven't seen this film yet, tune into TCM. Tell them that Edward and Tami sent you. And if you have seen it and haven't seen it in a while, well, you know, you're in for a treat. It's always worth rewatching, because you will catch something different every single time you see it. And that is the sign of a classic film.
Yep.
Absolutely. Edward, where can people find you?
I was going to say, not on the post office wall.
No,
sorry.
Not this month anyway.
Not this month. It's Friday. I'm tired. I'm punchy. I've been traveling. They can find me. You know what? You can DM me on Instagram at ParatiEA. You can go to my website at edwardaparati.com. I surprisingly respond to people. But it is, I truly wish, and through here too as well, Tami, is I truly love hearing from the viewers.
Yes.
When they watch the films and when they come back and they tell us, right? And it's so much fun to see people's eyes kind of just get exposed to something new, right? Inspiration is everywhere, and these movies just drip with it.
And we would love to hear from anyone who's translated their experience of this film or a favorite film of theirs into a dinner party or a brunch or whatever kind of gathering that you've come up with, and tell us about that experience. Tell us about what inspired you and the challenges. What was a little challenging, and what just came to you, because, you know, that's how inspiration works. It's just, you get flooded with ideas and creativity. Everyone, thank you so much for joining Some Like It Classic. You can find this podcast on JLJ Media. I'm Tami Goveia. You can find me on Insta at Tami.Goveia, Facebook, TikTok. Yes, I have a TikTok at Tami Goveia, and YouTube channel, my new YouTube channel. We will be back. We're going to try to make December work for our final show of the year. We'll see what we can do. December's a little bit crazy, but we're going to try to make it happen. Thank you again for your support. Like, comment, share the word, share the show. And thank you until we meet again.